Along with Knights General Manager and Head Coach Tom Kowal, I'm Andrew Mossbrooks. Happy summer, everyone. We're midway through, and that means we're halfway there to the start of another season in the North American Hockey League. The Knights getting ready for their 5th season in the League of Opportunity. And Tom, this week, a lot of opportunities being given out. We're going to see a lot of kids come out, some of the younger group for a Futures Camp, and we've got main camp at the end of the week. But first, let's just start with the Futures Camp. Generally, what opportunities does this give young hockey players?
You know, being out in the East Coast here, North America has only been out here for 4 years now, and so it gives an opportunity so guys don't have to fly to like Seattle or even Minnesota, to have that junior experience that, to get, to kind of study themselves as hockey players to decide what they need to work on a year or 2 years from now to become a junior hockey player in the North American Hockey League. These players aren't old enough yet to play junior hockey, but they're just out here to get the experience, go through an everyday life of a junior player for a couple days, get an opportunity to work with our coaching staff. More importantly, our coaching staff gets an opportunity to work with these players hands-on, get to know them a little better. We communicate with the parents and the kids throughout the whole camp, a little different than main camp. Not as much pressure because no one can make the team. But ultimately, we did it for the first time last year, and we had a gentleman that we drafted this year in our North American League draft, Zachary Aben. We didn't know anything about him until he came to our Futures Camp last year, and we ended up being one of our draft picks a year later.
This really gives a chance to the younger kids. As you mentioned, nobody going to necessarily make the team right away because some of these kids are 12, 13 years old, but a great opportunity for them. I think for you as a head coach, and certainly I can speak for Coach Whiteside, we've got Justin Schreiber out here this weekend, that it's more laid back for them. It gives them an opportunity to teach. But certainly once we get to the second half of the week, that is where things pick up a little bit. Maybe you're not as smiling, you're more getting the headaches and really trying to think, because from Friday to Sunday, you have to go from not having a team to figuring out who are the 25 players that you were bringing with you. Talk a little bit about that, because it's got to be a whirlwind of stuff going on.
Yeah, I tried to get my dad to come down and help me. I'm trying to get all the guys. I'm bringing everybody in to help me. No, main camp is obviously, that's when you put you're at the final table in the Poker World Series in Vegas, and you got to put your chips all in, and hopefully your hand is a winning hand by the end of the weekend. But it's very exciting. It's a good problem to have. We have over 100 kids coming in. Just the excitement that we have, people wanting to be part of the Knights program, is very makes us as a staff, our ownership, very happy that we're a respected organization. But it's let bygones be bygones, let friends be friends, but it's we're gonna have over 100 kids coming in this weekend, Andrew, and and we're walking out with 25 to 30 of them to come to bring to training camp. So we're looking forward to some great hockey. I know Justin Schreiber, Mike Maltese, and Andrew Whiteside did an unbelievable job all season to recruit these kids, narrow them down. I mean, we did our draft now, and now it's almost like getting to the end where it's main camp and then training camp.
Yeah,
there are dates on the calendar for you and I are starting to check off. We're getting done with this, done with that. Now we got Futures Camp, main camp, and then training camp, and then the regular season. So when we thought we had the summer's about a month left.
Yep, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some dates and concrete things that are going on in the schedule. But as you mentioned, the summer's sort of come and gone. We don't get a chance to really converse as much as we do during the regular season. So a lot to cover in this video. Let's rewind a little bit to the beginning of June, the NHL Draft, because a lot of these draft picks are coming to Pittston, Pennsylvania for an opportunity to compete in this main camp. Now, draft philosophy has changed a lot, Coach Kowal, from this year to some previous years. You're usually bringing in a lot of the younger kids, a lot of kids that have never experienced junior hockey. Well, this season we saw a lot of 18-year-old, even some 19-year-old guys like Sean Bunting, Spencer Kring, also a bigger player. You guys went for more veterans. You went for players that have junior experience. You went for bigger players. What sparked the change in philosophy heading into this year's draft?
As the season goes on, or as the years have gone on, you said we're going into our 5th year. It's as a staff, we feel that our first year to our 5th year now, we're learning new things. We're getting different combinations, and as much as it's fun, bringing in some young kids, developing them, moving them on to USHL or to onto NCAA college. You know what, we, as a staff, we got together mid-season last year and said, you know what, we have an opportunity to get a couple veterans back, along with some, our recruiting was going to change a little bit. We felt that, there were some parts in the youth hockey programs that weren't as strong this past season. So we decided we're going to go with some junior experience type players, some older guys, and see if we can get them to kind of lead the charge with a little mix of our younger guys that we feel have a good opportunity to come in and make our team, and see if we can put the puzzle together for the first time with that combination. We've never done this before, and we're really looking forward. We feel we have a lot of great guys that we drafted that are on our recruiting list that will be here this weekend for main camp, and we're going to lose a few of them to USHL or to another league. Because when you go after junior experienced guys, that means they played somewhere else.
Right.
So we feel we took a chance on a few guys. You're gonna fail a little bit, but hopefully we succeed on the most of our draft picks and our recruiting process, and we can put together a great hockey team starting in September.
The Knights have had a brief history, as we mentioned, just your 5th season in the league, as does the rest of the East Division in the Null, so to speak. But 2 years ago was when Wilkes-Barre Strand made it all the way to Blaine, Minnesota for the Robertson Cup. You look at a team like that had a few more veterans on that team. Goaltending, obviously, the tandem of Christopher Stover and David Tomeo. But when you look at what's coming in, and of course, we don't know who the team is yet. 100 guys have to go down to 25. That's quite a bit of cuts. But do you look at this main camp just from the outside looking in and maybe see a little bit of things that you can put together, as you mentioned, pieces to the puzzle that could perhaps spark a repeat or an opportunity to yet again be one of those top contenders come May when the Robertson Cup conversation gets a little louder?
I 100%. I mean, it's you would think that you were in our meetings we talked about a couple years ago, and we did have the best success in the season. We had a Matt Kidney, a Curtis Carlson, we had Jack Olmstead, we had a group of older guys that have moved on and gone to college, and we wish them the best of luck. But we wanted to kind of add to that experience and try and put a couple of twists here and there in different positions. But ultimately, when we look at our roster, we ended the season with, and what we feel have a good opportunity to take up a few spots in our roster right now. It's very exciting. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to, just as a staff, as much as you enjoy your summertime, we're excited we're getting into that mode where it's a downhill climb now, and we're starting to go in the direction of can't wait for the guys to get on the ice and work with these guys and get off to the Blaine Showcase here in the middle of September.
And I think what's really exciting, you mentioned September, we'll end it on this note. The NHL has released their schedule. We know September 13th and 14th, the Knights will be home hosting the Johnstown Tomahawks to kick off the 2019-2020 season. It's going to be a different season. It's another 60-game gauntlet. It includes some new teams, the Maine Nordiques being one of them, and the team will be traveling to Lewiston, Maine a couple of times this season. Now, Tom, you have 7 teams and only 4 playoff spots. It's already been hard enough with 6 teams and only 4 spots. The competition seems to get better and better in the North American Hockey League. And what are your thoughts on just knowing, hey, we've got dates and set, we know the dates, we know when we're going to be home, we know when you're not going to be home. That's a lot of February and March, pretty typical here. This team is road warriors those last 2 full months. But I have to think you're excited just knowing the schedule's out there.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the conversation, Andrew, it's another a box you can check off. It's we want to give these kids the best opportunity without cramming all in 1 month to do that. But just to have that schedule on the internet announced. We're already talking to colleges about weekends that they can come in and watch, and what we're doing this weekend. It's every day we come to the office. It's something new and exciting that we talk about, for the upcoming season. So now we got the schedule. We just have to put a team together this weekend and so we can play that schedule out that we just made here in the last month.
I'm going to guess that's easier said than done to put a team together. But you can stay up to date with us on social media all week long. We're going to be covering Futures Camp, Main Camp. Go to @WBS Knights on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and WBSKnights.com. We'll not only have coverage there, but we also have the full 2019-2020 schedule for your eyes to view. So for now, we'll be talking at the end of the week, maybe a little more of an intense conversation about this main camp. But for Tom Kowal, I'm Andrew Mossbrooks. Thanks for tuning in, Tom. Pleasure as always.
Thank you very much.